Welcome to the first ever Tony Toon's Weekly Words of Wisdom. Secret. Information you tell someone when you want it to become public knowledge by morning. Secret. Education. Never, and I mean never, confuse it with intellect or intelligence, 'cause you can have a bachelor's degree but still take experimental injections. Education. Laugh back. When you remember something so very funny from the past and you laugh at it like it's currently happening. Laugh back. Re-virginized. When you haven't had sex in so very long that you become a virgin again. Re-virginize. Poor. When you have too much month at the end of your money. Poor. Bisexual. The ability to reach down someone's pants and be satisfied with whatever you find. Bisexual. If we had to just let them eat the Tide Pods, then all of this stupid shit wouldn't be happening now. If war does finally break out between India and Pakistan, has anyone thought about who'll be answering the phones at all the call centers? Do not touch. Must be a terrifying thing to read in Braille. If you're ever feeling a little too good about yourself, go ask a 5-year-old to guess your age. That should even things out for you. Never, and I mean never, go to a doctor whose office plants have died. Stick purely to the fake ones. Muffins. For people who don't have the guts to order cake for breakfast. A big shout out to everyone who got through the day without taking a nap. My paycheck says I have a good job, but my expenses and all of my bills say I need to start moving bricks for the cartels.
What you talking about, Willis?
What about if everybody started going 20 kilometers over the speed limit on the highway? How would the cops ever know who to pull over? You really don't realize just how old you really are until you sit your ass on the floor and try to cross your legs. As for getting back up again,
forget about it.
Men, you might as well just slide right into her DMs and straight up ask her what bills need to be paid, my darling, 'cause Hey Beautiful just ain't cutting it anymore. And to further solidify your case, you have to make love to her like the men in her inbox want to. Some people say, Toons, how do you sleep at night knowing that some people don't like you? And I say, I sleep nude just in case they want to kiss my ass. You ever pay so many bills that when the odd chance happens and you have some money left over, you sit and wonder, shit, which bill did I forget to pay? Women, there isn't a single man out there that will hold the door for you longer than a man waiting to look at your ass. Back in my day, the drug dealers I knew, they had jewelry, cars, houses, and lots of money. The new drug dealers now sit behind a counter making retail wages and don't even have the drugs you want sometimes. Bill was quite concerned about his elderly wife's hearing, so he decided to test it without telling her. He went to the corner of the living room about 15 feet away from her and said, Honey, can you hear me? There was no response, so he went about 10 feet away from his wife again and said, Honey, can you hear me? Still, he got no response. So he leaned over the back of the couch his wife was sitting on and he raised his voice, shouting in her ear, Honey, can you hear me? His wife put down her newspaper and turned towards him and said, I've said yes 2 times already. When they put you in Facebook jail, how come you're not able to communicate with all the other Facebook prisoners? You know how you can get celebrities to record a voicemail message for you? Well, with the Tony Toons emergency call, you can get out of any situation. For example, if you really need to get out of work someday, or you're just on a really bad date, then just sign up with me. I'm doing family emergency calls with panicked crying and a hysterical high-pitched voice for $100 a pop. Get your Tony Toons emergency call card now.
Get your Tony Toons emergency call card now.
Speaking of dating in 2025, you can't even be too worried about if you're the only one or not nowadays. You just gotta hope that you're the favorite. Some people like to say, Toons, you know, it really takes some big cojones to get up on stage and do stand-up comedy, which I agree. However, it doesn't take balls as big as the ones required for raising your son to be a good, decent gentleman that other fathers' daughters don't have to recover from. Hey, FYI, I will literally decline your phone call and continue texting you like nothing happened. Getting pregnant by your baby daddy for a second time after telling the whole world how he ain't shit should result in a lower credit score and food stamps removal. My girl doesn't ever have to look at the bill when she's out with me, 'cause I read it out loud. Damn, this motherfucker comes out to $185. Some time had passed after Stephen died, and his widow Alice was finally able to speak about what a wonderful and thoughtful man her late husband had been. Stephen thought of everything, she told her friend Mabel. Did you know that just before he died, Stephen called me to his bedside and he handed me 3 envelopes? Really? Said Mabel. Yeah, and what did they say inside of them? He said, Alice, I have put my last wishes in these 3 envelopes, so after I'm dead, please open them up and do exactly as I've instructed. Then I can rest in peace. So what was in all the envelopes? Mabel inquired. Well, replied Alice, in the first envelope there was $5,000 with a note that said, please use this money to buy a nice casket for me to rest in. So I bought a beautiful mahogany casket with such thick padding in the lining that I know Stephen is resting very comfortably now. Really? Said Mabel. Yes, said Alice, and in the second envelope there was $10,000 with a note that read, please use this for a nice funeral for me. So I arranged a very dignified funeral for Stephen that was attended by all his friends and family. So what was in the third envelope? Asked Mabel. Well, the third envelope contained $50,000 with a note that read, please use this to buy a nice and suitable stone so that I'm remembered. At this point, Alice held up her hand to Mabel and she pointed to the 10-carat diamond ring on her finger and said, so Mabel, do you like my stone?